All right, we are 5 minutes after. Going to go ahead and jump in. Again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jermeen Sherman. I'm the Managing Director at Black Ambition. I oversee our national prize competition, our international programs, and our founder experience. And I am super excited to spend an hour with you all today. Thank you for your interest in the Black Ambition Prize and for being the innovators that you are. Got a few more people joining the wait room, so I'll just continue to let them in. Today we'll cover just two things on the agenda. First, I'll provide an overview of the work that we do at Black Ambition, how we support diverse entrepreneurs. And second, you'll have an opportunity to hear from Black Ambition Prize winners. These are founders who have made it through the application process and can share a bit about their experience, as well as some tips on how to develop a compelling application. More than this conversation, I think it's fantastic for us to provide information kind of in a one-directional way, but so much partnership and sort of meetings can happen in the chat and in these conversations. So by all means, make sure that you're engaging in the chat. We're oftentimes find that folks find partnership opportunities, whether it's product collaborations or branding. And so I want to make sure that we are building community and these info sessions as well. All right. So as most of you all know, Black Ambition was founded by Pharrell Williams in 2020, really with the goal of closing the wealth and opportunity gap in America by investing in diverse entrepreneurs, specifically Black and Hispanic entrepreneurs. We're building in business industries where he's got relationships, whether it's brand partnerships, but the idea is that beyond just the access to capital, we're able to support you in really meaningful ways with coaching and community building as well. A couple key dates that should be top of mind for you and on your radar if they aren't already. Applications for the Black Ambition Prize is currently open. They opened on February 26th, and that application will close on May 6th. So be sure to get those started and work on them as soon as you can. I'll share in this closed session that when I look at data year over year from applicants who win, there's one data point that is really compelling, and that is that prize winners tend to spend an average of about 14 days developing their applications. I share that with you to say that it's probably not a good idea to wait to start your application at the last minute. You want to really give the application the time and attention that it deserves to be really compelling. Just refining your answers, sort of revisiting what you say to make sure it's succinct and that it resonates. But more importantly, we find that a lot of applicants are able to really use the exercise of going through the Black Ambition Prize application to be competitive for other funding opportunities, whether it's venture capital or sort of corporate venture firms. So just want to encourage you all to be really thoughtful about developing that application. So applications will close on May 6th, and we will announce semifinalists in June. Semifinalists are the top 250 applicants, the most compelling applicants that we will support with about 3 months of mentorship. So putting you in a small group of entrepreneurs who are building similar businesses, maybe they're at similar stages, and we'll pair you with a mentor, someone who either has really deep industry expertise. So let's say if you are a beauty brand, we might put you with a venture capitalist who specializes in CPG products and beauty products, right? So the idea is that they can really provide some deep subject matter expertise, but also some relationship building and facilitate some warm introductions for you. In July, that mentorship program will kick off, and in September, we'll announce the top 50 founders. These founders will go on to participate in a public voting round. You'll actually get a chance, they'll participate in the public voting round, meaning you can vie for votes and have your customers, your supporters support you, and the winner of that round will get a $25,000 award. And then the Black Ambition Prize competition will culminate, meaning we will announce prize winners and celebrate that experience in November. And that'll likely happen in New York. We'll fly those top applicants out to participate there. So I kind of overviewed this in the opening, how we support founders beyond capital, access to curated events and network building opportunities, really deep dives into kind of developing compelling pitches. We provide lots of back-end supports through like AWS and other kind of DigitalOcean credits. We connect select applicants with legal advisors and financial advisors to just really help you sort of shore up your back end, as well as product placement opportunities, brand building opportunities. We really take a human-centered design approach. So if you do really well in the application process and advance to the top finalists, we'll spend some time surveying you to understand how we can be most impactful. And then we really sort of work backwards, right, to support founders in the best ways possible. So the last thing I'll say is that 2024 feels so special to us. Last year, we crossed this critical milestone of investing $10 million into 101 founders. There's a really cool inaugural impact report on our website if you want to just see where those 100 founders are now, what they're working on, how they've leveraged those funds to really grow and scale in ways that we frankly didn't even imagine so quickly. So I would encourage you to take a look out for that if you haven't checked it out already. And to what we are featuring today, a conversation with four dynamic, and if I can say just absolutely dope, Black Ambition Prize winners who we've invested in over the years. I've had the pleasure of getting to know, working with, and even traveling with a few of these folks here. And I can just, if I can just double click on how amazing they are, how committed they are to building businesses, but also how kind they are. And I say that to say, don't be shy with asking questions, pick their brains. They're always excited to share. So if it's okay, I'll maybe kick it off with like 3 questions, and then I will pipe down and open it up and just kind of facilitate a conversation between these 4 dynamic prize winners and you all here joining the info session. So my first question, and maybe I'll start with Daryl, is just to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, the business that you're building, and a little bit about just your experience at this stage last year when you were applying for the Black Ambition Prize. Where was your head at?
Yeah, most definitely. So what's going on, everybody? My name is Daryl Riley Jr., but you guys can call me DJ if you like. I'm the co-founder and CEO of my fashion technology business, Tendaji, which means make things happen in Swahili. And literally, I'm literally in the same shoes that you guys were. I and I was in the same shoes that you guys are currently in. My business is still in the ideation phase, sort of, kind of concept phase. But thanks to Black Ambition, we're definitely accelerating to now have a prototype. We're about to talk to Microsoft about potentially getting our product, which is going to be a jacket that can wirelessly charge our phones via solar power. Get it patented with the USPTO. Also talking with certain marketing agencies like Dolce LA to get our marketing right and making sure that we can present it to the market and more people want to invest into us. But Black Ambition, I applied 3 times, by the way. So listen, if you guys don't make it this year, keep on going, keep on showing your face because they'll definitely take notice that you guys are resilient. And I don't regret this decision, like applying for the 3rd time, because I mean you can see where I'm at right now, speaking to you guys and letting you know that anything's possible.
Thanks, Daryl. Gonna go to Mai Ray next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mayire. I'm the co-founder of Ecom Spaces, and I'm the second prize winner from last year. Actually, last year during that time, I wasn't even sure. I was not even planning to apply for Black Ambition yet. And the reason why was because I was so busy. That was my first time applying for it. And I was so busy, so I really didn't think I would have time to go through the application itself because it's pretty extensive. And what actually motivated me is that a past prize winner, Play Pits, was sent on a trip to Colombia. And that grabbed my attention. I was like, oh my God, they're taking care of the founders even after they win and they might send them on trips. And that's what got my attention. And I went and started my application right away. But really, another reason why I didn't apply, and I hear this a lot, is that people are scared because they feel like they're not there yet. They have a business, but they don't feel big enough. And that's exactly how I felt. I didn't believe and thought that my business had the caliber to be part of the Black Ambition Prize because I thought that they would want businesses who had experience with raising funds, had investors, pitched already. So do not believe that you are too small and what do you have to lose to apply? Just go and apply.
Thanks, Mayure. D'Angelo, next questions to you next.
Happy to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm D'Angelo, founder and CEO of All Peak, a 22 Black Ambition Prize winner, where we're revolutionizing the ways communities and startups engage with their communities online by breaking them free from social media surveillance. And typically, like being from a marginalized communities, we lack resources and the capitals we need to take our ideas from like 0 to 1. And at the time, we had about 2 to 3 months of runway, and I was looking for applications to apply for. And I ran across one of the interviews that Felicia, Pharrell, and rest in peace, Virgil had speaking about the vision. And it resonated with not just me, but us as a community. We have all the talents and ideas, but a lot of our businesses and just startups in general don't make it. And that's due to not having that community and support behind you. So like going through the Black Ambition application process, I did research on the team and those who were affiliated with Black Ambition to get a better understanding on the expectations. And expectations is being able to convey the traction and progress that you've made to date and just being honest about it. So Black Ambition invests in a variety of companies and in a variety of stages. So just being true to that and asking questions, you know, definitely taking this Q&A panel session and asking us the questions that you have to really get the information that you need to take that shot. But the application has allowed us to apply for other applications and also engage with other VCs by like they're asking questions about your business model. And it really shaped us to really convey the message in a way that it's digestible to like investors and even our clients. But super excited to be here though.
Awesome. Thanks, D'Angelo. I definitely want to double click on a few things that you all said. So just in the three folks that you've heard from today, I think, you know, you've heard that one, we invest across the spectrum. So there are folks here on this panel today that were pre-revenue at the time that we cut a check. And so I hope that that settles a little bit of your concerns. And you also heard that folks have really taken the Black Ambition opportunity to leverage it to get funds and other opportunities. On this panel alone, we've had folks we've been able to take to other countries to really celebrate and share how they've built their businesses. Actually, I think 3 continents represented on this call. So we'll definitely do a deeper dive. And D'Angelo, actually, I was able to spend some time at Harvard. So we'll get more into that. Philomena, coming to you next.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can.
Good. All right. Hey, y'all. My name is Philomena Kane. I currently am in Philadelphia, and my company is called Kin Apparel. We are known for our satin line hoodies, hats, and accessories for hair protection and comfort. So I am a 2023 prize winner, so it's only been like 5 months, and already Black Ambition has been such a blessing to me. In the past, I've won a lot of grants, like over 200,000 in grants. And it's amazing to be part of an organization that supports you past the money. Because you win these grants, you spend it on what? Inventory marketing. And it's like, okay, what's next? And Black Ambition is what's next. Like there's resources, there's workshops, there's organizations, networking, people to talk to. I was able to go to Brazil last month with Maire, for Black Ambition took us there, and we went to the Festival of the Diaspora. And after a panel that we were in, an investor approached me because he was interested in my brand. So it's like the little things like that that make a world of a difference. Now I'm in meetings talking to investors, trying to raise money for Kin Apparel. So I'm just really blessed to be here, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Awesome. Thank you all. I think I'm actually going to just ask, I have like a couple questions here, but I think I just want to ask one more because I'm seeing a couple hands, and then I'll let the audience here take it. I'm just wondering, when you think back to your experience of actually developing the applications, you're right, it's quite complex, it's quite lengthy. We really want to get to know you in the business pretty well. Is there a piece of advice that you give to folks here, just words of wisdom as they're in that process? Maire, I'll start with you this time.
Yes, thinking about what Farrell was talking about during the demo day, it's showcase your resilience as much as possible. So I know there's one question in the whole application where they ask you about a challenge or something you had to overcome. And it's so many other questions that is very tempting to just go real quick on that specific question and just answer something like not that detailed and random to pass through and continue the application. But I think that this is really a very important question, and I made sure I detailed mine with a real experience. It's something that was really difficult in my journey as an entrepreneur, and I detailed it a lot. It was a very long answer, but I think it made a difference because through that experience, that storytelling of showing how I was able to overcome and save my business, I was actually about to lose my business. That definitely made a difference, I'm sure. And showing your resilience is a big piece of it.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Philomena, coming to you next.
Yeah, so in the application process, there's a part that asks you for a 90-second video where you answer a few questions. And I'll urge you to spend some time on that video, really telling your story. I think Black Ambition is really looking for authentic founders that have done the work and want to continue putting in the work. So in that video, don't just sit down and just talk, but also maybe include some B-roll of your company, of your customers, what you've been able to do. Really tell a compelling story within the 90 seconds. And I'm pretty sure my 90-second video is still on YouTube if you want an idea of how to do it.
That's really helpful. I appreciate that plug. And I'll just add that, you know, if you do really well and you advance to the top 50, that video is how you go out and vie for votes. And so you want to be really thoughtful about how you take that 90 seconds to communicate with the world, because there are lots of opportunities there. Daryl, coming to you next.
So following up on Philomena, yeah, the 90-second video, this is where you show your personality in a sense. And, you know, I always told people it's not about necessarily what you know, it's not necessarily about who you know, but who likes you as well. So like, you know, not only is Black Ambition going to invest in the business, but it's going to invest in you, the person. So, you know, just make sure that you show what you're about, even outside of being the CEO or the co-founder of your current business. And then also rely on your network. You know, I have a mentor that was helping me out with my application, looking over, seeing what questions were kind of weak, where I can make it stronger. So definitely rely on the people that surrounding you, because, you know, it takes a village to raise a child, and you want to make sure that you're in good competition regarding to making your application strong.
Awesome. Thanks for that. I've got a list here of the hands, so I'm coming to those hands just next. D'Angelo, coming to you.
Yeah, so I agree with what they all just said as well. But for me, to also answer a question in the chat as it pertains to like the question about traction and what you've accomplished to date, we spent some time on that question 2 years ago, where we had to think about like the beta signups, the customers that we had signed up for our platform, since the platform wasn't built out just yet. And just speaking about the value proposition, honing in on why they're signed up to your products and services, and explaining the impact that your vision and your mission have on fulfilling the problem that you're solving, and just being true to that.
Awesome. Thanks, D'Angelo. If I can maybe chime in and just share one other piece of advice that a lot of our evaluators come in on, is that one question that asks you about your competitors. I think there's a natural urge to say, I ain't got no competitors because I'm out here doing the best that's ever been done, right? And that is one perspective, but that's oftentimes, it can be a little shallow, right? If you are building a business, we want to make sure that you have done the work of understanding your market. And a part of understanding your market is understanding who is offering a similar service, a different service, a complementary service, a service that potentially reduces or enhances kind of the need for your work. And so just know that like saying, I don't have any competitors is not going to be a compelling answer. We really want to know who those people are, but also more importantly, what is the differentiating factor, kind of your unique value proposition that makes your service or product different from theirs. It is not a bad thing to say that you are in good competition. It's actually quite compelling. We want to see that. All right, there's one question in the chat here that might be top of mind for folks. I'll just quickly address that, and that is about NDAs. We do not ask our application reviewers to sign an NDA before they contribute their expertise. This is explained in pretty detail, and this is explained in detail in our terms and conditions, which you can review on the website. Kenya, your hand, I think I saw first, so I'm going to go to you.
Yes, hello everyone. I just want to know, so this question is past the application phase. So how likely is it for a founder who still works a job to be successful inside the mentorship program? So do people who still work daily face any kind of rejection of the program? I know how Myra, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, explained how she almost didn't apply at one point because she thought she would be too busy. So just kind of explain how can you be successful inside the program, you know, if you still work a job daily while you're building your business.
So me, I work full-time in my business, but even that is a full-time job, right? I mean, it's two full-time jobs, really. And the beauty of Black Ambition is that once you get to the mentorship, the goal is to make you a better CEO. So if you really want to focus on your business and that's what you want to do, you're gonna find the time. I can tell you that right now. And that's the exercise. It's becoming a better CEO, putting all the energy for your business. If you do have a full-time job, I don't know how you can make that work. But if you really want this, you're gonna make it work. And I can tell you right now, if you want your business to grow, Black Ambition is, for what I see right now, one of the best platforms to help you with that. So I will definitely prioritize this.
Yeah. To add on, so in our cohort, we had a few individuals who were attending school full time, and they made it work. They worked around their schedules. But like so with the mentorship program, it's a lot of insight and codes being shared. So it's something that you don't want to miss, but make sure you communicate like your situation. But I'm sure there's a way that you can go about that. Maybe taking lunch during the time of the calls that you're having through the accelerator program, but it's definitely something you don't want to miss out on. And things happens for a reason. So if you get accepted, it'll work out.
Yeah, and I'll follow up with that. So the mentors, they'll send out probably like surveys on like what's the best days for everybody, and they'll accommodate to the founders, and also just make sure that you schedule at the time where you'll just use it strictly for the mentoring program.
Okay.
Yeah, and lastly, I want to add that this accelerator, it's not like something, it's not a 9 to 5 job in itself. So there are a lot of Black Ambition Prize winners that also had a 9 to 5 in addition to their company that they are building. So you're not going to be in these mentorship sessions daily. It was bi-weekly calls that we were having, and ahead of time. So you can definitely make it work.
Okay, so that makes me feel much, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and to add on, while working a full-time job, you can also like strategize on ways that you can leverage the income that you're getting in. So by the time that you potentially win the award, you can also like help expand your runway, because starting out, typically our runways are limited. So that can be an advantage, especially starting out. So don't let that stop you from applying, is basically what I'm getting at.
Okay, thank y'all.
Awesome, thanks. Just double clicking, we absolutely share the schedule of events and kind of where your priorities are, communicating what's firm and required. And there are a lot of supportive and learning opportunities that are up for you to decide, right? If you want to take advantage, if you want to come to an office hour, those things aren't necessarily always required. Desiree, is the hand I saw next, going to you.
It's actually not Desiree. It's Nigel Dunn. I don't know why my phone has me as my girlfriend's name, but that's nonetheless. So I have kind of a compound question. My quick question is, does the point person have to be the person that pitches at demo day? And I think that would be for the host. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Oh, good. I'm Jermaine. The answer is yes. The team lead is the person that pitches on demo day, should the company advance to that role. The team lead is also the person to whom we provide all of the support. So they participate in the mentorship program. If we are taking you somewhere physically, like on this call today, D'Angelo is from 2022, so he won't join us, but everyone else are going to all meet in New York on Monday for about 3 days. We're going to do some programming with one of our executive partners at Louis Vuitton. So you can imagine how dope that experience is going to be. Some dinners with investors. And that all directly goes to the team lead. Where we are hosting like at a cultural event or a conference. So let's say if we're at South by Southwest or Essence Fest, and you've got a co-founder, we've got tickets to something, oftentimes we're able to open it up to the broader team, but all of our programming is directed to the team lead.
Thank you so much for that information. My second question is D'Angelo, you actually talked about codes, and I had this question already written down. I wanted to know from the panelists, what is a code that you feel like you've been given throughout your experience with Black Ambition? Or if you don't have a code offhand, maybe like an aha moment that you had throughout the experience.
So through the mentorship program, one of the biggest takeaways is the mentorship, but like really fine-tuning our storytelling of being able to convey our business and like being able to really like show up uninterruptedly. Hopefully I'm not answering a question that will be asked later, but it allowed us to not hold back. So like if there's someone we want an introduction to, reaching out to someone on the Black Ambition team to see if we have a connection there that can conduct an introduction that has led us to closing clients, going to networking events and being able to like stand up and tell your story. And another code is leveraging the network. So there's a lot of founders in the Black Ambition ecosystem that's further ahead than where you are currently, or that's going through the same struggles that can help you like brainstorm and really like accomplish whatever that goal is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's been continuously helpful. Hope I answered your question.
I really appreciate that.
A lot of the times as founders, I feel like we feel like we're alone in this journey. Like there's no one else that is going through this with us. What Black Ambition has helped us with is just connecting us with other founders that are in the same boat as us. So people in your cohort will become some of your closest founder friends, right? And you'll be talking to them daily. Like I talk to Maire every week. I talk to Anna every day. And it's just great to be able to share what you're going through, share stories, and just help each other out. And even if you're not a prize winner, even some of the finalists, you're still keeping in contact with them. And because there's this one company called Akua, they're a hair care company. And now we're talking about ways we can partner together to build up our brands and communities. So the support is endless, but I think one of the great takeaways is just having founder friends you can lean on.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. Sorry. So majority of our traction earlier on has been closing like clients from the Black Ambition ecosystem. So like partnering with other founders and increasing our revenue, but also helping solve their problems. Because I know like, especially from the tech end, it's hard to really scale. And being able to be a part of a community that's pushing collaborations, that's pushing like bringing the elevator back down to help each other out. And this is like everything that Black Ambition is saying as far as their mission and excelling Black and brown founders and making sure that we can show up uninterruptedly. We have been experiencing that.
And like I mentioned before, it's not necessarily about what you know or who you know, but who likes you. So like what Philomena said, having friends that's fellow Black Ambition prize winners. One of the prize winners, his name is Keontae Bush. He's the founder of Venture for Them, and he does his own pitch competitions. And I was fortunate enough to be in his second cohort, and you won more prize money being a part of that cohort. So definitely make sure you connect with everybody that's in your path, because you never know when's the next time you're gonna meet them and do work with them.
I appreciate all
I
of this.
appreciate you. I'm sorry. I wanted to chime in. We actually just won a pitch competition with Keontae at Morgan State University, my alma mater. I guess I should say I'm representing Soundtrack the Game,
Great.
but I won't get into
Right.
what we do.
Apologies to cut you off, but I got a ton of questions and I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to voice themselves. So I'm gonna transition to Bryce.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
I had a question for Daryl, and I was wondering, since you said that you applied 3 times, did you ever notice, or I guess think to yourself, what you've, I guess, done better in your third application compared to like the first and second time? And like, did you see where you improved?
Oh yeah, I definitely. So I'm an electrical engineer by trade. So when I started my business, I still had the engineering mindset, but not the entrepreneurial mindset. And we were just a year in when we applied to the first Black Ambition. But there was some terms like a cap table or just not knowing my competition as much as I do now. Uh, that's what kind of like made me not get it the first time. The second time I didn't get it, but they can definitely see that I was gaining some more knowledge. Became a semifinalist, got to meet Felita Harris, who's my mentor. Make sure I built more of my network and also more of my expertise of what we were doing for the business. And then when that third application came about, it was like, well, listen, but this is my third time. Let's show the resilience. Let's show what we learned. Let's show what we gained throughout this experience, and let's just hope for the best. I mean, if I would have not got it the third time, I would definitely apply with y'all for this fourth time. So, like I said, it's just a matter of showing resilience and seeing the growth that you want to like have with this entrepreneurial journey.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks for the
Who was
answer.
that just said something?
You just heard from Daryl.
What was that person's name?
You just heard from Daryl Riley.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
All right, this time going to
thank-
Bryce Washington. Looks like there are two Bryces in line.
No, that's okay. Greetings. My name is Bryce Washington. I'm a first-year economics major from Atlanta, Georgia, and I attend Florida Agricultural University. And one of my questions for D'Angelo and for Philomena is really for all the panelists is that how are you able to communicate your story, understanding that you have such a deep business and understanding that a lot of your businesses are within different industries, such as D'Angelo's, which his is primarily in tech, and Philomena's, which is primarily apparel. How are you able to condense your story within 1 minute and a minute and 30 seconds, and even quicker than that?
Yeah, good to see you again, Bryce. You were at the FAMU pitch competition hosted by Black Ambition. So it's really repetition. So for us, it was like staying close to the customers, trying different messages and actioning them, which one resonated with them the most. But the story was like finalized through the Black Ambition program, where basically those prize winners would go through pitch sessions, and they will help you develop and mold your message and really dive into your target audience. What is your value proposition? And they'll really like do surgery on your script or whatnot. So that's pretty what led us to get to that point, to be able to tell our story where it resonates with the room.
Gosh.
Guys, I'm trying to understand. Are you talking about the application's 90-second video or
that
afterwards?
really in general. Not only with the application, in general. Like, how are you able to like condense your business into a story? Because a lot of times, some issues that I relate to, or an issue that I have, is that whenever I try to explain to somebody the type of business that I either want to create or that I am creating or that I have, a lot of times I have an issue with explaining what my business does in essentially a short amount of time.
Okay. I think it's important, and I used to actually have this issue too, because there's so many different ways you can articulate your business. And the best advice I ever got was to start with how your journey started and brought you into the business. So my company is in apparel and hair care, and I used to pitch my company talking more about the apparel aspect of it, until one time I pitched it and the person was like, why don't you just tell your own story? Why don't you just talk about how you started off as a hair care YouTuber and then it led you to creating this brand? So one piece of advice I will tell you is start with your story, because there's going to be people that resonate with it and understand why you're the best person to do this, because it started from you. And then within your pitch, talk about other ways in which different people from different walks of life would be led to your company.
Thank you so much again. Like I said.
The application is also designed to help you think through that and the way that I think an initial way to think about that, because there are lots of different stories and you need different stories for different moments, right? Like you're gonna need a 30-second story, you need a 3-minute story, you need a 20-minute story. So you gotta kind of refine all of those, but it's also helpful to think about what is the problem that exists? How does that problem impact me and how am I solving it? Right? So this problem existed in the market. I ran into this problem. I fixed it by doing X, right? And at some point at the shortest form, that is a 2-sentence statement. And so I'd recommend kind of starting there. All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Next question, I'm going to go to Mary.
Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. Good afternoon or good morning, everybody, depending on where you're at. So I've had my startup for some time. This is actually a question about confidence. And D'Angelo, what you were speaking of, I've been doing this for a while and I'm in a low point where I'm getting a lot of no's from different things, trying to raise capital, and I'm taking a confidence hit. So what recommendations do you have, especially when you're trying to pitch your video and push your best self forward as our entrepreneur community? What can you say to building confidence so you can come and show up and be the best version of yourself for the application?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Looking at which networking events are in your area. So for me, Black Ambition hosts a lot of events that I've attended. But if there's any networking events that's in our community focused on Black and Brown founders where you can go and network with other founders or your target businesses to tell them the story, and like the feedback that I tend to get, like the positive feedback helps boost that confidence, and then the leads I get usually boost that confidence. But casting a wide net when it comes to applying for accelerator programs, reaching out to angel investors and VCs and telling them my story increases the chance of me converting the no's to like a yes or two. Because I still get a lot more no's than I do yes, and that's typically the journey that we're gonna go through. But that one or few yeses will lead to something exponential. So like for Black Ambition, after we won our prize award, that led to us being able to close a little over 265,000 with having 2 months of runway left. So I was already thinking about how we're gonna pivot or what do I need to do to increase that runway, because I'm not gonna stop. And it's important to pursue something that you're really passionate about, because it's gonna get hard. And when it does, you wanna have like, something to really think about and like your why and what that purpose is to keep going. But please don't stop, because we only lose when we quit. So if you have a network, or you have a network now being on this call, you can connect with us and ask us any questions. But the journey is hard. Being an entrepreneur in our community is hard.
Yeah. Good. Yes. I gotta pick up, who.
But yes, that's basically it. I hope I answered your question.
Any other comments on the question? I feel like it's an experience that lots of founders here experience. So want to take this moment to just lift your spirits, because you're not alone.
Yeah, I'll say this. So if you look back at some of the enterprise companies like the Chanels of the world or Facebook, it took them some time. It took them years to get to where they are as far as scaling and being a renowned brand. And that's due to being able to raise funding and capital to really like give our business time for the market to catch on to it and for us to scale it. So just keep going and keep seeking opportunities, and don't limit yourself. Don't put one egg in one basket. Keep telling your story.
Yeah, and I'll follow up with D'Angelo. Even like as a prize winner for Black Ambition, like sometimes the confidence ain't there all the time, but you out like, yeah, like even the co-founders here can agree with me. But listen, like you've been put in rooms that you belong in, and sometimes you just gotta believe that, even if you think in the back of your mind that that's not true. Keep on giving yourself affirmations. Let yourself know that you belong here, because God wouldn't put you in this position to at least talk to us.
That's
Yeah, and one thing I will add is, for me, anytime I'm like feel defeated or like not worthy, I always think about the people that I help. So if your venture is helping other people, hold on to these people that you are helping right now. Even if it's one person, this person is these are the people who's gonna give you the energy to keep going, because if they need help, just think about all these other millions of people who are waiting for you to succeed so they can receive your help.
And
Thank you
a
all
lot.
for- oh,
Oh, yeah, I was,
Yes.
go ahead.
Thank you so much.
I was just gonna say, and a lot of times it's waiting on the world to catch up on your vision and what it is that you're bringing to the table. So yeah.
Yeah, and
Go ahead,
sorry.
Philomena.
Oh, Jeremy. Yeah, one last point. I do think it's important to like kind of reclaim that narrative a little bit. You're not the only one going through this. Like I've heard a lot of no's, but understand that sometimes a no is not a no outright, but maybe it's just a not now. So just rinse, repeat, keep going. Your business is not going to fail or die until you run out of energy. So I will always say like prioritize your self-health, whatever that way looks like for you, going to church, praying, talking to people, and understand that there are people out there that support you, and sometimes that's all you need. Like drown out the noise and just keep going, because you're gonna get there, but you're not gonna get there if you don't give yourself the privilege of a no or of failure, because it's not always gonna be a yes.
That is a fantastic point to close this out on. And I wanted to spend some time here because this is a lot of what we talk about at Black Ambition, and frankly, why we built out a wellness component of our programming that really just looks at the whole person wellness of a founder, and taking care of you as you build a business, because it is building a business is difficult. Building a business is particularly difficult when you're a minority and you face some really unique and intrinsic barriers. And so I just want to share 3 things with everyone on this call that I think could also be helpful in getting over this hurdle. The first is you got to surround yourself with folks who inspire you. At Black Ambition, we've got a podcast called the So Ambitious Podcast, and we do just that. We tell the stories of entrepreneurs who are building businesses who had to start from day one, right? And the parts that weren't so pretty, and the times that they got no's, and the times that like, I can't make payroll, because that's real life. And so hearing people who've navigated those same barriers and overcome them, I think will both give you insights into how to do it, but also just let you know that like, it's kind of part of the game and it's not anything personal. The second thing to remember is that when you see successful businesses, you're not seeing day one version of them. You're seeing many iterations, right? And pivots and strategy and personnel and product and service. And so that in itself is a journey. And so just give yourself the space to take that journey. That journey doesn't happen in days. Oftentimes it happens in years. And so just keep that in mind when you're looking at others who you might feel like are having the success that you desire. Just know that like that journey has looked different and they didn't start where they necessarily ended. And the last piece I'll say is, your confidence in yourself inspires others, right? And so when you think about your 90-second video, you've got to bring that energy. You got to believe so well in yourself that it makes me feel crazy if I don't believe you. And so sometimes it means like you got to fake it till you make it, or you got to give yourself the prep talk, but just make sure that, you know, if you are feeling a little bit defeated, that you're not carrying that with you in conversations, because others can perceive it. And I don't want that to be your experience. All right, gonna go to you next, Tyrone.
Hello, everybody. I'm coming from the standpoint of a judge. I judged the first round and the second round. And I'll tell you the difference between those that went, in my opinion, I've judged a lot of these competitions, Black Ambition, South by Southwest, and a whole bunch of others, that separates the ones that have it and the ones that don't. You brought up the sister that's running from Black Ambition is WPAYS. What problem are you solving? Those that could ground and get down to the problem that they were solving, not their technology, because I couldn't give a damn about the technology. What I'm concerned about is what problem you're solving that the technology accelerates, that helps to solve that problem. That's what made the difference for me. And so if I could leave you with this, what problem you're solving, for whom, to do what, and how will you know that you've succeeded? If you can start to answer those questions, I'm telling you, you will be successful, not just here, but in a bunch of different places. So that's coming from a judge who's helping out a whole bunch of other startups get into this space. Stay with WPAYS. What problem are you solving? Thank you.
I so appreciate that, and succinct, clear, and so incredibly valuable. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anissa?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, so my name is Anissa, and I'm the co-founder of the Unplugged Initiative. I'm currently based in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, and my question is for the Black Ambition team. My partner is based in the US, and I just wanted to know if we are still eligible to apply if one of us is residing outside of the US.
That is a fantastic question. And I want to just encourage you to take a look at our terms and conditions so that you can kind of on paper tick every box to assess your eligibility. So the Black Ambition Prize is open to applicants who apply as a team, meaning you've got to be a minimum of 2 people. And one of those persons has to identify as a team lead. The team lead has to be domiciled in the US, and the business has to be domiciled, i.e. registered in the US. So in your case, it sounds like your co-founder is in the US. As long as your business is domiciled in the US, you can absolutely apply with yourself being based in Dubai. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course. I also just want to take a moment. I've come up in the chat a couple of times around understanding the team requirement and what that second person needs to look like. We are really open to that interpretation. Our priority here is to see that you are co-building along someone who shares your vision and is committed to building this company with you in the long term. And so that team member can be a W-2 staff employee, that team member can be a consultant, that team member can be a co-founder, but they need to be at least 18 years or older. They've got to be working with you long term, and they need to be a real person. And I say that to say, guys, we do our homework, right? To understand their expertise, their role, and so an info@email inbox is not going to suffice for you. We're going to double check that you are in fact co-building with the support of others. All right, I think it's Jose Laguna.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the time. I just wanted to share a healthy question that may be valuable for everyone's business storytelling. Are there any other valued platforms like Statista.com that anyone can recommend that provides trusted market stats and trend analysis to help tell stories with math?
Can you just repeat that question one more time, Jose?
Yeah. What part did you hear? Nothing I said?
I heard you say, is there a resource that helps to tell stories? And then there was an element of statistics. I just want to make sure I captured your thought.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, I just said, are there any other valued platforms like Statista.com that anybody on the panel can recommend that provides like trusted market stats and trend analysis to help our storytelling from a math perspective, numbers perspective?
I see. What I think he's asking here is primarily on when he's telling the story around like his total addressable market, right? Like what is my revenue potential? How many people could potentially buy this? Who are my customers? Is that kind of what you're getting at, those data elements?
All the et ceteras, market size, just looking for authoritative trend analysis and stats. I know there's a number of platforms, but I just wanted to get a sense of what you guys have used and feel is trusted.
So I'll go first. So typically outside of Statista.com, we've used white papers. Harvard Innovations Lab, where my company had the pleasure of participating in a accelerator program. They provided us a list of white papers to help update the data that we had on our PowerPoint. So I would focus on some white papers in your demographic or your target audience and leverage that to validate what Statista analytics are providing you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks, Dan.
Then another thing, if you wanted to get more in depth, reaching out to those who wrote those white papers and getting on a Zoom call with them and just following up to get some more insight. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Any other comments from the panelists on this question? Cool. I would also, Jose, often just note that government databases are oftentimes a good starting point for like federal national data when it comes to like users of a product or like needs or demands. And oftentimes those papers are commissioned by research institutions that are noted in footnotes. And so that'll better direct your study, your research.
Okay, merci, merci.
Another thing, if you wanted to dive in deeper, I'll say also reaching out to your competitors' customers, and seeing what led them to buying their services and products. What was their pain points, and how did their product or service solve that for them? And seeing if you can get some more information on how's that benefiting them now, and what could they do to really help solve some more problems that they're looking for them to solve.
Okay, thanks, D'Angelo.
I see we're at the 5-minute mark. I see 3 more hands. So I'm going to definitely power through and be respectful of folks' time. Adrian Allen, coming to you next.
Yes. So, I just wanted to know what was the hardest criticism you have gotten on your business model, and then how have you used that to like tweak your business model? Because not every business model is going to be perfect. And then of course, like if you're, I'll say for me, I'm selling jewelry, but as you can see, jewelry is something that's becoming more popular right now. So, how have you used that criticism to like change what you have to like make it better, just in the simplest form?
I'll take off first. So for me, it was I got an intro to this prospect customer for us. There was in like the enterprise space. So as a startup, you know, we gave them a price range based on what our competitors gave them, and they were like, "You're a startup. Your product needs to be free." And I was like, "Well, we have a runway, and we have a product that works. We have case studies." So the learning from that was to really dive into our target audience and looking at our ideal customer profile, and then identifying that they just weren't the right customers for us. So at times, depending on what the reasoning of why clients are not saying yes or buying your products and services, reflecting back on your ideal customer profile and looking at the prices of your competitors just to see if it's within that range. But we set our value. And so at the end of the day, as the face of the company or being the founders, you should be able to set your price, and just make sure that the individuals that you're selling to are the right individuals and taking heed to the feedback that they're giving.
I was also going to cut you off and say, because I know this is overtime and probably like inappropriate, but in terms of like visibility, like for your business model, like how have you gotten that visibility like on your own without like outside of the capital? Because of course you need capital in order to get the visibility you need to generate sales and revenue, all that, you know.
Yeah, so getting introduced to clients that I would see on Black Ambition website, like founders that they've invested in, going to networking events and asking for introductions and setting up demo calls. We don't currently spend money on social media ads. It's organic outreach, and also do cold calls. And I typically walk to like inside the establishments of businesses and tell them my story. So that's been our process so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna add something real quick, and we don't have much time. Something that I did that worked for me is that I was going on my competitors, either social, on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you can. And then I would look at the complaint that people had on their services. And I will make sure that on my end, I will provide an excellent service. And these things that they couldn't do well, I will excel in it. The second thing I did that gave us a lot of traction with Ecom Spaces is that we made sure that the clients that we had at that time, that we were serving them extremely well, so they will go spread the word to other people. So we didn't spend any money in marketing. Until today, we do not spend money on marketing, but we have a waiting list just because we took extreme good care of our current customers.
Thanks, Mayre.
And I can go ahead and anchor it away. So first foremost, it's good to see you again, Adrian, my fellow Black Ventures alum. For me, like since I'm a very early stage company, my mentor was telling me this looks like something that was a senior design project, nothing like an actual business. So me having to go back to the drawing board and really understand what a business model is, just so I could present it to a point where, you know, investors are not just like uncomfortable with putting money into the business. So that's my little TED talk on that.
And one last thing, because yes, I have received this particular criticism. It was my product, there's nothing proprietary about my product, or there's no patent on the satin line hoodie. And to that, one way that I've been able to answer that question all the time, address it during pitch competitions, and just talking to investors, is saying that it's not just a hoodie. It's a brand. We're not trying to sell a product. We're trying to sell a brand. And yeah, some people can build a community, but it takes a special type of person to be able to monetize the community. So if you have a type of brand that comes with community support, and you're able to, in your advertisement, reach out to the community, speak their language, and get them to buy in loads, that shows more to investors than just them saying, oh, there's nothing proprietary. Because if there was something proprietary, then it's like, okay, how am I selling it though? Because at the end of the day, you want to make money from the product that you're selling, not just have a patent on it.
Thank you so much. That was really good. Like, you really helped me with that one. That was a really good one for sure.
Thank you all. In the chat here, we've got an email address at info@blackambitionprize.com for any final questions that you have. Sorry here about the slides. I'm gonna put our contact information here on the slides if you don't have that just yet. But Jordan, I know that your hand was up and you've been waiting, so I want to give you the last question before we transition.
Word, I appreciate it. I was getting ready to sign off. So hi, Jordan, he, him, his. Sorry for showing up late. But this has been extremely helpful. And I apologize if the question was asked, but I'm a computational data scientist at MIT, and the opportunity to cross paths with Lupe Fiasco, who's over there working, and essentially kind of just shot my shot. He's like, yeah, let's meet and talk about it. And so I have like 7 years worth of data, and I'm like a disruptor, a true rebel, like good trouble, Martin Luther King's frat, you know? And so I struggle with controlling my narrative, where a lot of people are like, don't post that on LinkedIn, don't do that. I'm like, I'm doing a social science experiment. Like, I'm trying to see how people are responding to my intersectionality of marginalization. And so I know a couple people's products, but just in terms of like being disruptor and like feeling comfortable when you get called to do something, if you're, even if it's not even related to your business, just like your brand of like sharing your uncomfortable truth and disrupting the narrative, just any advice on that as somebody who does that regularly. And sometimes it does, I feel like it does cost me like opportunities, but I don't know, I like to control my narrative. So any advice on that or just comments on that would be great.
I would just say keep controlling it. You know, you had like the momentum going. So if you feel like this is what's going to help you out and becoming like the entrepreneur that you have, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But always try to critique it to make it better, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to understand your question. Are you saying the way you talk, are you saying your narrative doesn't lead to investors? I'm trying to understand, like, are people not supporting you because of the way you tell your story?
Yes, so I will put it in the chat. I'm like an openly gay Black man with like a psychiatric disability who's also an alpha. And so there's a lot of intersecting marginalizations that people get confused, or they have their own cognitive biases as it relates to how I show up. And I'll just be real. I was at MIT. I had white judges tell me when I used a brain computer interface, they didn't believe in the science. That's why I didn't win the technical prizes, but we won the People's Choice Prize. And it's like, oh, well, probably because our project was on rap and brain rap. And so it's that part where it's like I can identify bias. I grew up with white people. And so I train computer algorithms to understand cultural competency. So I do that for a profession. But then when I go on LinkedIn, and I'll put it in the chat, but and share my truth about getting fired because people don't want to provide opportunities for my disability, people say you're hurting your brand. And I appreciate Daryl's point, but it was ultimately, I'm just sharing my truth. I'm not calling anyone, like I'm calling people out, but in order to evolve, I guess. And so that's my question.
Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah. Yes.
Make sure you apply.
Okay, thank you. Maybe that's just where I'm like, that's all I needed to hear, because
Yeah, I would
Imposter syndrome
also,
is real.
yeah, I would also say stay true to who you are and be bold. Continue telling your story and don't get caught up in the politics. Politics is all over, and just don't get caught up in it because it's just a distraction. And keep going, man. You're passionate about it. You have an idea that people believe in, and what just focus on that. Like whatever room you're in, hopefully there's someone that's there, and you can connect with them. And if not, imagine that you're in that audience and talk to yourself, and it will resonate. So don't don't be afraid or ashamed of others' perspective or their differences because you're bringing your perspective and your differences, and that should shine light.
Yeah, man, like you can only be the best you. Don't try to be the best anybody else. Like take me for instance. I come from New York, fresh generation college student. I'm wearing earrings. Like this ain't the typical founder that you'll see coming from our white counterparts. So just stay true to yourself, and I promise you, the right people are gonna come around your corner.
Jordan, I appreciate that question, and I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. And I know that we don't have the time to do it here, but what I'll share with you is, as you advance in the Black Ambition Prize competition, this is where the pods are able to really leverage their collective thought partnership to help you think through what that narrative is. Obviously, you've got to stay true to who you are and what you're building for that to resonate, but it's also a case for aligning with the interests of others, right? You've got to tell a story that resonates with people. If you're talking to a brand that cares a lot about sustainability, don't talk about your recyclable straw, like your non-recyclable straws, right? Like you've got to be able to tell a story that resonates with different people. And sometimes it means emphasizing different elements. But at the end of the day, you're a founder, you're building a for-profit company that's designed to generate wealth. And so telling a story that says, investing as me is a great idea because I'm good for your bottom line is a good place to start. And we can kind of build the rest around that. Before we wrap up, I want to give our 4 panelists, one, just my deepest gratitude for sharing both your time, your insights, your wisdom with us, but a chance to tell people how they can follow your journey, tell us your IG, tell us what you're working on. I've seen in the chat here already some requests to connect with you. I don't want to inundate you, but I'm thinking maybe your IG is a good place to field some questions.
Yes, connect with me on Instagram, naturally Philo. I'll put it in the chat. And yeah, feel free to DM me.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me as well. My IG is Senate Made, SENATMADE, or you can follow Allpeep, ALLPEEP _. And we're also on the Black Ambition website.
Yeah, and you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's _dr.jr. And then my business page is 10ten.daji, DAJI. And you can also add me on LinkedIn just using my name.
And same for me, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I added my link in the chat, and you can follow Ecom Spaces at ecom-spaces on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. This conversation was also recorded. So if you missed a part, if you joined late, no worries. It'll be on our website by the end of the week, so you can listen in. We'll have a few more sessions. We'll also bring in our grand prize winners for a conversation on IG. So if you're not following us, make sure you do that to learn about what we're activating, where we are, the conversations that we're having, so you can be a part of that. We're at blackambitionprize.com. Wishing everyone a fantastic day ahead and good luck developing your applications. We are so excited to see them come in. Have a good afternoon, everyone.